we feel very excited about the fact that the government has continued to stay on the economic growth philosophy that they have been pursuing for the last few years. This is despite the state elections that are around the corner. Largely, I think people were expecting some populist moves, but the government has decided to balance economic prudence with expectations of the public overall. Uh, I think the three things that really stand out for me in the budget is one, the amount of attention that has been paid to some of the larger visionary moves in core sectors like healthcare, infrastructure. Talking about things like setting up central infrastructure or protocols or data repositories, around health and so on, is something that is very encouraging. I think it also sets a tone for policy making over the next few years. It also gives us indications on how policy around healthcare, education, etc., is likely to evolve. The second thing that's very interesting to us is a much more vocal focus and attention to startups as well as private investments coming into startups. I think it's not a surprise to anybody that startups and entrepreneurship more broadly has become more mainstream. The focus on supporting MSMEs, focus on attracting private equity investors, strengthening of the AIF regime to as a means to attract more domestic capital to private equity and venture capital as an asset class. I think the acknowledgement of the contributions to the economy, I think, are very well noted, and policy changes, the extension of the tax holiday, and so on, is something that is very welcome, and it will continue turbocharging and continue the turbocharging of the growth that we expect because of the entrepreneurial culture and the startup revolution. I think overall, we actually our research team, PGA Labs, had published a report a few months back where we anticipate at least 40 to 45 more unicorns to be created over this year of 2022. And when we feel pretty excited about the budget that we would probably indeed touch that number as a country. I think the third thing that's very important and something to be noted in the budget is just the continued push around infrastructure, continued push around making road infrastructure and networks more efficient, continued push around energy efficiency, a lot of initiatives and acknowledgement around green and environmental sustainability as a part of economic progress. I think all of the announcements around that, the provisions around that, are again, I think, very encouraging, and what we always used to talk about inclusive growth, but I think starting to talk about inclusive and sustainable growth by the Honorable Finance Minister is something that we believe is very exciting and paves a path for a very strong long term. And I think last but not the least, I think it is very heartening to see the government talking a lot about modern technologies, the amount of attention paid to NFTs, digital currency, digital assets, monetization of those digital assets. We see this budget as a start of legitimizing, digital businesses and digital assets, and we expect this to be a stepping stone towards better legitimization and formalization of the digital economy, which we think bodes very well for us as a outside. But overall, a very healthy budget, a very forward-looking budget, and a very inclusive and sustainable budget with deep focus on startups, attracting private investments, and acknowledging the role that technology is going to play in turbocharging the Indian economy. So we feel very excited about this, and congratulations to the Finance Ministry and the ruling government on presenting a very thoughtful budget.